Hey guys, and welcome back to another skill point guide video for Total War Warhammer 3. Today we'll be going over Kostaltyn. Other than his faction, I don't really mind him, really. Playing with him a while back, he isn't the greatest legendary lord that Kislev has to offer at the moment, but he does kind of, he gets better as your campaign goes on. Granted, he does have regeneration when his hit points are below 25%, which it's it's something, but it's nothing fantastic. But he does end up getting pretty powerful in terms of his melee stats, especially once he gets his mount. But let's just jump on into his skill tree and see what we're working with here. Now, I do like to, if he stops talking here, I do like to grab Root Marcher to begin with, but then also come down the Ursun's Roar to get the Styric Lullaby, just for that regeneration, or the heals per second rather, and regeneration for the area of effect. Now I know you start with a Patriarch who can also get that ability, but early on I really like getting more of them rather than fewer, because he does end up taking quite a bit of damage. He ends up, even later in the campaign, he can get loads of hit points and really high melee attack, but his melee defense is really lacking. So I like to be able to just pretty much be constantly healing him, because he kind of does need it. But after the Styric Lullaby, I do go down his red line and buff up the missile units, because you're going to end up using pretty much Streltsy or armored Kossars or even regular Kossars probably the majority of your campaign. Now, he doesn't buff anything specifically other than the embedded Patriarchs. The Dervishes and Horse Archers are just not good in the base game in vanilla. They're just not worth it. I don't recommend getting the Horse Archers or the Dervishes, excuse me, at all. And so I kind of wait with the rest of the red line, because it kind of depends if you go with some, some War Bears or Snow Leopards or artillery. It kind of really just kind of depends what you end up wanting to do, but I kind of put a pause on the red line during that time for that reason. Now, being where you are at on the campaign map, you're going to be fighting and dealing with a lot of corruption. So I do like to spend a few points into Fervent just to reduce corruption in the local province, and mainly it's just to unlock the his special skill line, because there are some things in there that I do really like. And so in terms of his special skill line, I do like to get a strong man. More hit points for him. I mentioned it earlier. 20% more hit points, really nice. Wound recovery -2 on top of his Supreme Patriarch, so it'll be -4. So he'll only ever be wounded for no more than one turn, which is really nice in case he does die. The Fiery Devotion, you just have to be careful with this one. I don't mind getting it. The devotion gain from successful actions here faction-wide is really good, but the Blaze of Devotion, you just have to be careful because it imbues flaming attacks to your allies once he is in melee. So you just got to be careful in case you're going up against entities that are fire resistant. But other than that, I do like that ability. Promote the Pious is good. The generation +2, or sorry, the devotion generated 2+2 per turn, excuse me, is pretty good. And Howling Rage is good, gives him more melee attack, weapon strength, all good there. And then I do wait on Firebrand just because it's not a global thing. It's for him personally, and in any case, no matter who your legendary lord is, whoever you're playing as, you shouldn't be using them, in my opinion, to be standing around and just recruiting. They're going to be the ones for the majority of your campaign until you get a second lord that can kind of handle themselves. They're going to be out doing a lot of the fighting. They're not going to be coming back and recruiting, and so I kind of just wait on that one for the time being. Now, after kind of jumping all over the board, I do come down his melee line, and here you'll see just how much melee attack he can get. Giving him melee defense, obviously more Wild Eye for some melee attack. Conviction is good. Blessing Dis is just to move on, but here comes some more hit points, more charge bonus, more weapon strength, and Enduring Devotion is pretty good. He's going to be in melee quite a bit, so this should always be active, and giving himself more melee defense and leadership, as well as allies in that range of 35 meters. We still have 16 points to spend. If we look at his base stats without his mount, now if we put him on his bear, you'll see he gets pretty tanky. Granted, with that, he already has 9,000 hit points, And I mean, there's pretty good stats. There are other things you can get to buff them up, items, you know, defeat traits, that kind of thing. So base stats, going down his melee line on top of his mount, that's pretty good. He does have magical damage, so that's pretty helpful there. The only thing he really needs is some physical resistance and ward save, but usually in the campaign you'll be able to get some items. You can defeat Siggy and get some physical resistance there, and he's not terribly too far from you as you progress in your campaign. Now, in terms of your last, I mean, you kind of go through quite a few number of his points already. We only have 16 to spend. Since he's on a bear, he's going to get targeted quite a bit because of his size, so I do like to grab him some more missile resistance. The Arcane Vassal, I don't worry about. Magic missiles in vanilla are not that great. The Orthodoxy in action. Now, the fact that these are faction-wide buffs, that's fantastic, but the construction cost for the Hallowed Wood buildings is a huge, like, negative. 300% for all Hallowed Wood buildings, all provinces. If I just take this settlement here and show you, and then put a point into it, right? Just auto-resolving it so I can show you. It goes, the combination of the farms and Hallowed Wood buildings, the forestry here, is how you make your money. These two kind of affecting each other, and it goes from 2,000. I put a point into it here. And you'll see it goes up to 8,000. So unless you're just steamrolling in an economy early on, this is going to make things extremely expensive for you, and you're just not going to make enough money from post-battle loot and other things to justify spending 8,000 for a small return of investment on your farm building there. So I disregard that. I'll reset his skill points there, but I just wanted to show you guys why I don't get it, because on one hand it sounds like it's a good thing because you get income from all buildings plus 10% and a reduction in cost for construction costs for Orthodoxy buildings, but it really negatively impacts your economy there. So I'll reset the skills and just put in the ones that I had already put in, just to get back to where we were. Just very briefly wanted to show you guys that there. Now, the last few points, since we don't go through the Arcane Vassal and Orthodoxy in action again, it kind of depends at what stage in the campaign you are at in terms of what you're going up against. Typically, I really like the little Groms, so getting them more armor, but mainly it's for the ammunition. You can also do the creatures of the land. The Warbear Riders are extremely powerful in auto-resolve, extremely powerful. So if you want to end up getting them, if you're tired of fighting chaos over and over again, they're a good solution there. And vanilla, the cavalry just aren't that great. For the speed and charge bonus, it's just not going to make that much of an impact. Granted, they are a little better now since the recent changes, but it's still not that big of a difference in my opinion. Coming down, finishing his red line here. Do like to do the skirmisher traditions, giving them more melee attack, ammunition, missile resistance. That's great. And standing your ground, giving him a area of effect buff for melee defense and leadership. That way he can hold his own a little bit longer there. Now the last few points I do like to put into mentor, just because to start spreading some of the wealth of his experience that he's going to be gaining. And you can kind of go down more of these since they're not locked. And I actually do like to get them because when you do the heroes, the patriarchs, they lock the other ones out, and that, at least this way he kind of acts as Volkmar, the Grim in the Empire, where he can have all of the other abilities going on. And so I really like to be able to cast those as fast or as often as I can with Kostaltyn there. He's really good at buffing units around him with melee attack, healing, vigor loss, or vigor per second reduction. That way they just stay fresh for longer, meaning they'll fight better. Now your last 2 points, I like to just put into reassuring presence. I don't really worry about Draftmaster, again, because it's local in the Lord's Army. That's not big of a deal. The reason I do the reassuring presence is because if you look, Norska is very, uninhabitable for you. If you go north and you're going to be constantly fighting these forces, you're going to be going up against them your entire campaign. So reducing the attrition you'll take from them, the provinces and the terrain there, that way you're not constantly moving in camp stance to negate that is effective. That way you can, you know, use your force march, you can use ambush stance, that kind of thing, without taking too much damage on your units there. But that is how I level up Kostaltyn. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. It's not really a, I mean, none of these skill guides are technically perfect per se, but there are just a lot of options here that you could go with, that you just have to kind of look at your situation and determine, are they really worth it there. But again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on that bell icon so you will be notified when I go live on YouTube or release more videos on the channel. And until the next video or live stream, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.